Hey there. Happy Tuesday. I hope you are having a fabulous day. And I have a question for you. What if the biggest breakthroughs that our clients are just within reach of are not through a framework or a technique, but actually when we have the courage to throw the playbook out the window and look through a new lens? So I want to welcome you to Tuesday Tips. And today we're going to be thinking about how we can work outside of the box as coaches. I'm excited to dive into something that's I've been noodling around lately about how many transformational coaching moments often happen when we dare to do the unexpected. I'm Meg Rentschler, and I am an executive and mentor coach, the host of the Star Coach Show. And this is Tuesday Tips, where we dive into some tip for your development as a coach or for your business. Now, here's the thing. Our industry is flooded with proven methodologies, very helpful, step-by-step systems, absolutely needed, and best practices. Amen to that. However, they all have their place. And in my many years of being a coach and a coach instructor, what I've noticed is that it is some of those dramatic shifts that happened for our clients when there's been sort of a surprise or a step outside of the box because we've challenged or invited them into a new experience. So today, we're going to explore 3 specific ways that innovative thinking can revolutionize not just your coaching effectiveness, but maybe your entire business model and the relationships you have with your clients. We're going to look at how breaking patterns can create breakthroughs, how strategic experimentation builds stronger businesses, and how when you reimagine your coach-client relationship, it can deepen the engagement in a way that you might not even expect. Now, whether you are a seasoned coach feeling like maybe I'm stuck in a routine, or you're new to the field and wondering, how am I going to stand out? My hope is that you'll leave this conversation giving yourself permission to experiment. Isn't that exactly what we invite our clients to do? Step into experiment. Practice ideas that you can implement immediately. And maybe most importantly, renew your excitement about the creative possibilities that are within our reach as coaches. So let's jump in and challenge some assumptions about what coaching can look like when we're willing to color outside the lines. So the very first thing I want to challenge you to think about today is how you can break client patterns through unexpected approaches. Now, we've got the traditional coaching of sitting down, often it follows predictable frameworks. And we can also bring innovation into our coaching to disrupt the limiting patterns that can fall into place when we introduce new or maybe unconventional methods. This might mean taking a session outdoors for a breakthrough conversation, or using creative exercises like vision boarding or coloring, or inviting some kind of artistic endeavor. Maybe it involves flipping the script and having a client coach you to see what in fact might open up for them. When you surprise your clients with fresh approaches, you're going to bypass those mental defenses and create new openings for genuine transformation. The key is being tapped into your client's energy and deliberately choosing methods that stretch them beyond their comfort zone while maintaining their psychological safety. So I've got some examples for you from the Star Coach show. In an early episode of the show, as a matter of fact, it was episode 109, Coach Eileen Schaefer joined the show, and we called the episode Step Up Your Coaching. In that episode, Eileen spoke about how she walked with her clients in every session, either side by side, right next to them, or on the phone, but both of them were walking in their respective locations. She shared so much about how walking impacted her client sessions. She said, there's something very powerful about physically moving when you're mentally moving. When they get excited about something or some kind of something's resonating with them, oftentimes they'll start walking faster. And that's something I can cue into and call out for them. You get more out of the somatic experience with them when you can see what's happening to them body-wise. It was so, so, so good. Now, I also had a client on in episode 385. Amanda Duarte joined, and she was talking about how she's worked tension release into her sessions. So a different kind of sort of body experience to break clients out of the norm. And she said, I've had people tell me, Amanda, I didn't know it was possible to live with a different level of stress. I didn't know it was possible to live this way. The person that she was talking about was carrying so much stress in her body that her heart rate was constantly high. And she was able to decrease her resting heart rate, which was just phenomenal through the coaching experience and through this tension release that Amanda worked into her coaching business. She said this person was able to deal with stress in a whole different way, and they weren't drinking alcohol anymore as a way to escape. So powerful. So that first lesson about breaking out of the bonds of traditional coaching is maybe break your client's pattern by giving them unexpected approaches in your coaching. My second challenge for you today is to build your coaching business through strategic experimentation. So many times we as coaches get trapped into conventional marketing and service delivery models. And there are breakthrough businesses that emerge from taking calculated risks and being creative in their pivots in what they offer as coaches. This could involve partnering with unexpected industries or creating a hybrid group individual coaching model, or developing a signature program that blends coaching with other disciplines like equine coaching or adventure experiences. The advantage isn't just differentiation, it's discovering what really genuinely excites you and attracts your ideal clients. So document your experiments, measure results, be willing to fail fast while scaling what really does work. And let me give you some great examples from the show about this. So Mike Green, who's a master certified coach, discussed his love of the great outdoors in his interview and how he was transformed as a youth by an outward bound experience. That led him to incorporate the transformation that nature brings into his Alaskan personal expansion project That is a 5-day group coaching experience in Alaska, where he lives, that combines outdoor activities with his coaching. He demonstrated how he integrated that adventure directly into his coaching experiences in episode 363. And it was so just exciting to hear how his adventure experiences have transformed his business and really made him well known for what he does. So good. I also interviewed Dr. Suzanne Maxwell in her experiences with equine coaching. And in her episode, which was 20, so it was a super early episode, but so good, she talked about the fact that she believes horses are the best partners in coaching because they create vulnerability, they demand authenticity, and they help clients develop through genuine leadership presence and emotional intelligence. Now, I will tell you that I did a session with Suzanne and her horse, and it was incredible. It was incredible. And she said to me, the nice thing about using a horse is that they don't have language. So they're going to be honest and true in the way that they react to you. And I've got to tell you, that was spot on in my experience in that coaching session that I had with her. So we are thinking outside of the lines in what we're offering for our business to build our business. We are breaking through client barriers by offering them unique experiences. And then finally, I would encourage you to redefine your partnership models for deeper client engagement. So move beyond that traditional coach client hierarchy by experimenting with collaborative partnership structures. That might be co-creating a program that you're inviting the clients to create content with you. I love the idea, and through many of the programs that I do, invite your clients to co-create with you. Let them be part of the experience. Or maybe you establish peer coaching circles where you facilitate rather than direct. Really, key group coaching is about allowing the clients to do the work. Well, actually, all coaching is about allowing the client to do the work. But think about how you can develop partnerships in a way that everybody's committing to the growth. I will say that I did an interview with all of a sudden his name has just left me here for a second. So give me a second. I see his face and I'm not remembering his name, which is kind of embarrassing. Um, and I'm going to tell you about it anyway, because it was about masterminds. And Ronan Leonard. Sorry, Ronan, completely blocked your name for a second. So he talked about building businesses or just offering masterminds as a coach. And he said for a good mastermind setup, the facilitator does virtually none of the work, or they might do it originally in setting things up. But then you've got your framework around it, and it's really you facilitating and everyone else contributing. He talked about the fact that the more that you can kind of leverage your own intellectual property, the more you can say, hey, let's have this big impact. But everybody kind of bringing their own intellectual property and helping each other grow. That could be in a course, or it could be in these masterminds where you're getting people together and you're offering that learning experience together. I think about the fact that sometimes we keep ourselves stuck in a box that like we can only work with coaches, or excuse me while I get a sip here. Or, we're just so traditional in our export and our approach. Sometimes I'm even like, I've got that narrow focus when I think about who to have on the show. And then I realize that there are so many different professions that we can learn from and bring value to what we're offering by leaning into others' expertise. I've had people on the show talking about voice health. I've had people on the show talking about um, being able to like lean into being speakers and so many different things. Well, one of the examples I'm thinking of is I had a statistician on the show. Nick Marks from England was on the show, and he was talking about how they are measuring happiness. It's a happiness project, and he was able to bring practical implementation for coaches based upon the statistical research that he's done. I mean, so good. So I'm going to bring 5 practical implementation that coaches can do based upon the work that he's done on bringing happiness into the workplace. And he said, as coaches, we should always start with leadership buy-in. Work with progressive leaders who understand that employee well-being benefits everyone. What a great tip. And this is coming from a statistician. Or make participation social. Create systems, create offerings in your programs where people want to contribute to team discussions, to being a part of. So we go back to my point above, like invite people into the learning experience. Focus on reflection and learning. Use the data that's available to us to facilitate self-awareness rather than judgment. So we're inviting people. That research that other disciplines do can help us so much as coaches. Address the negativity bias. Deliberately focus on what's working well, not just the problems. And then the final tip that Nick Marks gave us is think in terms of more good weeks than bad weeks. So in other words, they were testing or taking research on what made a good happiness week each week. And rather than that it has to be 100% one way or the other, where is it leveraging? What's the ratio? What's the balance? And so to help build resilience on understanding balance rather than living in the extremes of all or nothing. So I know Tuesday tips are short and sweet, and I'm, so excited about talking about this that I'm needing to wrap it up now. But what I would say is we talked about 3 things in thinking outside of the box. We talked about breaking through your client patterns by offering unexpected approaches. We also talked about building your business through bringing in strategic experimentation of doing things new and sort of creative. And then we talked about redefining your partnership models with other kinds of professions that create a deeper client engagement, as well as inviting the client into the learning experience, into the develop experience. If you're developing a course or developing a group, or invite them into the process. So as we are wrapping up, I want you to think about this challenge. Pick one thing that we discussed today, just one thing. Maybe it's surprising a client with an unexpected approach, or experimenting with one new thing for your business, or shifting towards a more collaborative partnership with somebody. And then commit to trying it this week. Just give it a try. The truth is, your clients aren't just hiring you for your knowledge or your certifications. They're hiring you to see possibilities that maybe they can't see yet, and to guide them into territory where maybe they wouldn't explore that alone. But with you and creating that safety for them, they will go there with you because you believe in their potential, even when they don't see it themselves. So here's what I've learned. You can't take your clients beyond their blocks if you're not willing to go beyond your own blocks. And if you're staying safe and predictable in your coaching all the time, you're limiting not just your own business growth, but maybe the depth of transformation that you can facilitate. The coaches who create lasting impact aren't usually the ones with the most credentials. They're the ones with the courage to color outside the lines when their clients need it the most. So, my challenge to you, go experiment, take some risks, surprise yourself, surprise your clients, because the moment you step outside of your own comfort zone, and as a coach, that's often what we need to do for our clients to give themselves permission to do the same. So thanks for joining me for this Tuesday Tips. I'd love to hear how this landed on you. Leave a comment below the video and let me know what experiments you've decided to try. I would love to support you just through sending good energy your way and hearing about what's going on. And your comment might be just the comment that somebody else needs to have the courage to try. So have a great week. And thanks again for joining me for Tuesday Tips. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Oh, thank you, Elle. Eli, thank you so much. We'll see you all next week. Take care.